Welcome back to the Cooking Chapel. I am your host, Reverend Kyle. With me, as always, is my assistant, Elizabeth. And today we are going to be cooking Reverend Kyle's Tequila Chicken. The purpose of this recipe is to give my own spin on the marinades that you would typically get if you were going to do chicken for the family. I like the idea of making my own. So that's what this is. Now this is sort of a blend of Asian flavors along with the traditional tequila, lime, Mexican type of flavors. So we'll get into all the details here. Now we've got the chicken. This is about,
I'd say 3.5, 4 pounds.
3.5, 4 pounds of chicken, cut up across the grain into little pieces. And this is, depending on the size of your family, if it's just for you or if it's for a large group, then 3 to 4 pounds is going to be adequate. I'm just going to take this and move it over here for just a bit. Now we are going to start with the lime. I do have 2 limes here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to cut them up, give them to Elizabeth, and let her juice them and into our, give it a little bit of a roll in your hand, loosen up the juices. Okay, so we've got these 4 pieces of lime here. Wrong way. See, that's why I have my assistant here. I'll let you do that. You're the expert. And while she's doing that, we have a 2-cup container here, and that's 16 ounces. Typically, if you buy a marinade at the grocery store, it's going to be a 16 to maybe 20 ounce container of fluid. So that's what we're trying to do here, is duplicate that, give you 16 ounces of fluid, give or take. And we're doing it with all fresh ingredients. I find that the fresh lime and all the other ingredients really gives this chicken a major zip. Very, very nice flavor and texture. Big one, you got it? Now, this is a marinade, so it's going to be up to you whether you decide if you want to keep the lime pieces and throw them into the marinade with it, or if you just want to throw them away. It's completely optional. I've done it both ways. It doesn't really contribute much to the flavor, but some people find it necessary to do so. All right, so it looks like we've got our 2 lime, fresh cut. We'll get that out of the way here. Okay, so what do we have here? We have about, we're almost to a 1/2 cup. So let's start putting in some of our other ingredients. Now, what we have here is cilantro. We got a bunch of fresh cilantro at the market, and we've chopped it up very fine, actually, a very fine chop. You could use dried cilantro if you'd like. This is about, I would say, about 2 tablespoons of freshly chopped cilantro. Okay, and next we have, these are green onions, or scallions, if you will. We've chopped off just up to the green part. So we've got the white edge where the roots are all the way up to the green. And again, this is about 2 tablespoons. Okay, and we're starting to get there. Our fluid looks like we're about 1/2 cup at this point. Next we have garlic, 3 or 4 cloves. You could do minced. Of course, we like to use our garlic press quite a bit. The garlic press, I feel, gives the best and most aromatic flavors out of the garlic. Then we've got ginger. Ginger is where we start to get into the Asian influence a bit. This is freshly ground ginger, and again, you could use dried ginger, but I don't think you're going to get the same effect out of the marinade. And I'll let, at your discretion, a pinch of black pepper. You could use white pepper, black pepper, whichever. All right, so we're kind of getting into a nice little muddled mess of stuff here. Let's add a couple other things. Let's go for some soy sauce. So with the soy and the ginger together, we kind of have that Asian influence. Let's do about 3 tablespoons. With this being a marinade, and the acidity and the saltiness of the different, the lime and the acids, and of course the soy here, give or take based on flavor. This is one of those recipes that after you've made it a couple times, you go, wow, it could really use more soy, or it could use less soy and maybe more of something else. Let's put some olive oil into this recipe as well. And again, let's just go with about 3 tablespoons. olive oil, once it gets to a point where we cook the chicken, it's going to help enhance that flavor just a bit. So we got about 3 tablespoons in there, and we are looking at just about a cup, just a tiny bit more than a cup of fluid. So now we get to the good part. Elizabeth, if you would please fill that up to the 2-cup line with our tequila. Okay, now let's talk about the tequila for just a moment. This is the full strength stuff, okay? So it is not your grosser diluted, this is your actual 40% volume, alcohol, 80 proof. And you can get the 40 proof and sometimes even less when you go to the grocery store. So that's true liquor cabinet tequila that we're going to use here. Okay, well this looks excellent. Let's go to the next step. Let's get our chicken back over here. With this being a marinade, we want to give this an opportunity to let this sit maybe, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours. You could do it in the morning and then cook it when you get home. So we are using a zip top bag. This is a zip top / freezer bag. And so we're just going to put the chicken straight into the bag here. Did you want to get your hands into the chicken here? Now, ultimately, the chicken, you can do strips. You could do chicken tenders if you don't feel like cutting up the chicken yourself. That's an easy and quick method of doing this. The size of the chicken is really dependent on you. It just depends on how much cutting or chewing you really want to do. This is excellent. Okay, so I'm going to hold this bag, or actually you hold the bag open here, and I will pour in. Get it all in there. Don't leave any of the little bits. Okay. Squish it up real good. Get the air out of it. Squish it up real good. I'd probably recommend leaving this in the refrigerator for at least an hour. I would recommend putting it into a container of some sort before you put it in the refrigerator, so you're not mad at Reverend Kyle for a hole in the bag and then it leaks all over your refrigerator. So that looks beautiful. That is exactly what it should look like. And we're going to put ours in the refrigerator and we'll come back and check on it in about an hour and cook it up and see what we get. Well, all right, it's been about an hour and a half since we put our chicken into our refrigerator with all of our nice yummy marinade in it, and I did put it in a little container like I had recommended for you. I do have a pot here, and this pan rather is on about medium high heat, and it's nice and hot, and we are going to put this right in. Make sure you get all the creamy goodness out of here. What we want to do here is cook this chicken at about a medium-high heat and just let it really just start to cook down. And you'll start to smell it and you'll start to see it sizzle. Don't overcook it. I mean, the chicken obviously needs to get cooked all the way, but you don't want to kill it. You want this sauce to slowly come down. So maybe after the chicken turns that right white texture where it's cooked all the way, you can actually turn it down to a simmer and let it cook further. So we're just going to let this sit here for a little bit, and I'll stir it every so often, and I'll come back and show you once it's cooked for a little while what it looks like. So it's been about 15 minutes, and the chicken itself at this point is cooked all the way through. What we want to do now, though, is allow the fluid to boil down. And you got to remember, we started off with 2 cups of fluid, and we really want to boil this down. Keep in mind also that some of this, actually half of it, is the tequila, and we do want to give that an opportunity to kind of to cook out a bit, although it's slightly it's mythical that you're going to be able to cook the alcohol out of this. You're not going to. There's going to be quite a bit in there still, which is what we want ultimately, because that's where a lot of the flavor's coming from. So we're just going to let this keep cooking down until we get to a point where it's almost kind of dense. I've actually experimented with putting some cornstarch in here to kind of conceal or put it together and get it kind of congealed together. I don't want to do that. I like it to be runny. We're actually going to put this over top of rice, and I've got my rice cooking right now. We want the rice to be able to soak this juice up. That's all part of the experience, is that the juice, the sauce, actually goes and seeps into the rice, and that together with the chicken just tastes amazing. So we're just going to let this sit here, and the rice is cooking, and we will be probably ready within another 10 minutes. So total cook time on this is about 25 minutes, give or take, depending on how much sauce and juice you actually have and how much you actually want. So here we have it. The chicken's completely done. We've put it over top of a bed of rice. All that sauce is digging into that rice right now. It's really soaking it up. It smells. You can smell the ginger and the Asian influences along with the tequila. We've paired it along with some steamed asparagus and some cheese sauce. Now, that's my grandma's cheese sauce recipe. Elizabeth here makes that. Maybe we'll have to do an episode on that as well. All right, so I'm going to want to dig into this as quickly as possible. What are you thinking? You think it looks good?
Looks great.
Excellent. All right. This has been Reverend Kyle and Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us here at the Cooking Chapel, and we hope to see you back again soon.